do we have a fantasy star on our hands here, George? Here is the question with Jaden Daniels of the Washington Commanders. A lot of folks went into the fantasy season saying, hey, look, maybe this isn't Anthony Richardson, but it could be the next best thing. I'm here to tell you, I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like Daniels could be better than Anthony Richardson.
I don't know if I'm going to go there yet, all right, but I think he's in the conversation, yeah. What did we hear at draft time? A lot of people wanted a quarterback who can move, right? You don't want the guy who's going to take 5-7 steps and throw the football anymore because you want that additional rushing yards. You know, you get 50, 60 yards, that's a touchdown, right? That's why Josh Allen is so valuable. Lamar Jackson is so valuable, right? You go up and down. Jalen Hurts. You go up and down here. I think Daniels is going to be a good quarterback. I think Washington got their guy, and he can throw the football too. We know McLaurin's a really good wide receiver. It may not be much else there. We'll see what McCaffrey can be. Luke McCaffrey can be there in time. But, you know, I do have hope for him. I think at season's end, he's going to be a quarterback one. It may be a low-end quarterback one, but a quarterback one nonetheless.
Yeah, I was really impressed watching him in that game. All right, now Anthony Richardson, look, he's going to have a big year. He's going to have a big fantasy year. There's no question about it. I don't know about the long-term viability here. And look, give him credit. He hung in there with the Houston Texans. My fear for him, George, is that when you go back and you watch film, if you protect the deep ball against Richardson, he could hurt you with his legs. And that may be where all of his fantasy value is coming from. I cannot see him throwing 2 70-yard bombs like he did again.
That should come in time, right? Practice time. I think he will get better here. I think Richardson's going to be fine. Does need to learn how to avoid hits. All right. Once again, remember that hit from Tua last night? He initiated it. Slide. The rules are made for you not to get hit. Take advantage of them.
Let's roll. This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency, the pits, the players, the hustlers, the people, the bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Twisted Tuesday has begun, and we've got a lot of stuff to break down, a lot of stuff to unpack, and a lot of games to bet on. We've got a ton of action going on in-game as we speak right now. A full night of action on the college football field, the college football playoff rankings, round 2 were just announced a couple hours ago. We'll get you caught up to date with all of that, but let's break down what's coming up right now, including Klay Thompson's return to the Bay Area, an emotional night tonight in the Bay. There are a lot of returns in the sports world, and every year in every sport, there's always, well, you know, look, this player's going back here, and that player's going back there, but this one is special. One of the greatest teams ever, the Golden State Warriors. That run really was one of the best runs ever, and Klay Thompson was the first man to be left behind, so to speak. So he returns tonight to the Bay Area to take on the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors are 2.5-point favorites in the game. The total is 235 right now. I like the Golden State Warriors. Well, you know, that's a strong word. I'm betting the Golden State Warriors. How's that? like is a strong word. But I'm betting. I think the Golden State Warriors are to play tonight in this game, and call me the Grinch. I guess, you know, the holiday season is here. There's Christmas ads on TV, so I'm the Grinch that stole Christmas early here. Listen, life isn't a Disney movie, so everybody is betting the Klay Thompson props tonight. Good for you. Good luck with that. I'm going under. Give me Klay Thompson under 15.5 points tonight, and give me Klay Thompson under 2.5 3-point shots made. That one is like plus 145. And I really don't get why the number and the sports books and, I don't know, as the public just sort of assume that he's suddenly going to start making all these shots. So, as I stated, his 3-point prop tonight is 2.5, yet under 2.5. So, in other words, as long as he doesn't hit 3, 2 or less is plus 145. All right, so to put in context, how many times has he gone over this number? He went 3 for 7 once and 4 for 8 another time. Their last game, he was 1 for 6. The game before that, he was 1 for 7. Another game, he was 1 for 5. So let's tip our cap. He had a 4 for 8 and a 3 for 7. But doesn't mean that he gets to shoot 30 times tonight just because they're going back to the Bay Area. There's still other players on the team, and he's not the best player on the team. Speaking of which, Luka's been cleared, obviously. So, he's going to take some shots. Will he get hot? Maybe. And the way I see this, I can't not play it at plus 145 to the under. He could, we've seen him get cold, and the pressure's going to be on. He's really going to want to hit these shots. So does he get to 3? Maybe, but I'll roll the dice that he doesn't at plus 145. And also the 15.5 is a tall task, right, to get to 16. And looking at the games this year, he's gotten 10, 12, 13, 16, 9. Like, how many? 12, 7. All right, he had a couple. He had a 22, a 19, and an 18. But for the most part, listen, he's averaging 13.8. The total is 15.5 tonight. And like I said, everyone's getting caught up in a sentimental moment. We'll be a big jerk about this thing and say that he goes under, right? So under 2.5 3-point shots made and under 15.5 points scored for Klay Thompson. All right, college basketball. We got whatever the hell you want to call it. We always have these early season little showdowns and tournaments and stuff like that. Last night on the way out, we actually hit Hawaii. We discussed the Pacific and the Hawaii game. The Bows got it done. But all kidding aside, that game was going on in the late night hours. So, yeah, college basketball tonight. The Jayhawks got it done against Michigan State. Barely. They did cover the number. 77-69 was the final score. And we got another battle of blue bloods. These teams play every year. They just sort of rotate it. Like next year, Duke is going to play Michigan State, and Kentucky will play Kansas, etc. They sort of go back and forth. So Duke right now are up 46-37. We've gone to the half. So we've just gone to the half here, 46-37 for the Duke Blue Devils. They're currently laying 10.5. The total is 166.5. We took Kentucky plus 5.5, and I took the over 159.5. So right now we're sort of looking at a split. And I should say, I kind of knew too, like taking Kentucky tonight, that it wasn't the best bet. It was sort of a leap of faith bet, and we've sort of, if you've noticed in these college basketball games, when you get these big-time powers that are playing each other early in the season, the favorites have been winning the games. Like, the odds makers have been right as far as, this team, even though, so early in the season, this team should be 6 points better, 7 points better. Look tonight, right? It was 5.5 Kansas, and it went up to 6.5. Ended up closing at like 6.5. They won by very close. They won by 8, 77-69. But we've seen, a couple of these games, more than a couple, where, you get big-time programs playing, but the favorite ends up getting it done. I like this Kentucky team, and I know Duke is really good, but it's all about Cooper Flagg. So if he doesn't have a great game, like, you know what I mean, does that hold them back? Yet they're rolling right now, 46-37, high-scoring game. The in-game total is 166.5 right now. And considering that we're at 83, and most these games all pick up. Look at the Kansas game, guys, was like sailing under. In-game total was like 127.5 at one point, and it ended up nearly getting there when it was all said and done. There was a flurry of points late in the basketball game. Kentucky, that's the one thing about college basketball that I do like betting on. These teams don't tap out. They're not going to quit, right? They'll keep playing. It's always a coaching experience for the coach and a learning experience for the players, etc. So, you know what? Let's take a look at the in-game over 166.5. They're not playing at the Garden. Normally, you think about MSG when you see these games. They're playing in Atlanta. They did play in the Garden before, but it goes to the highest bidder, and they move it around right now. Speaking of the Garden, the Winnipeg Jets win at the Garden tonight. The Winnipeg Jets were underdogs tonight. The Winnipeg Jets, 15-1? A dominant start. We'll get into the pucks with Andrew McKinnis, Cam Stewart in the house. We've got Tommy Lorenzo, Rick Saratella. Got a full house on the program tonight. College football playoff rankings came out once again tonight. And listen, I don't want to ever really get too animated about this stuff. I see people flipping out online about the SEC's getting disrespected and the Big Ten's getting too much love and whatever, guys. Like, all these teams are freaking playing each other in the next couple of weeks, and all this is meaningless, okay? It means absolutely nothing. But with that being stated, that's my problem with the modern college football playoff world. We live in a society right now where everybody's a snowflake, everybody's a cupcake, and everybody thinks that nothing is fair. Everything is like, it's not fair. We should have a better chance. We need more. You know what? I'm old enough to remember when you needed to have a perfect goddamn record to win a college football championship. That's the way it was. 11-1, too bad. Great season, kid, but not good enough. You didn't win. You need to be perfect. You need to win every game, right? Now we live in a society, it's not fair. We need 12 teams. It's not fair. We're going to have 16 teams, 24 teams. What the hell are we doing here? The Miami Hurricanes just lost. It means nothing, right? You know you're going to end up with 3 lost teams in the college football playoffs. I hope all you son of a bitches are happy. Live with it.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in this set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Tom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I'm Morency, the Twisted Tuesday. We're got a full house on the program tonight. Tommy Lorenzo, Andrew McKinnis, Cam Stewart, Rick Saratella. A lot of stuff to get to. A lot of returns tonight. Klay Thompson returning to the Bay Area to take on the Golden State Warriors. Joel Embiid returned tonight for the Philadelphia 76ers, and he got hurt right away. And he left, but he came back once again. But as I stated, a lot of returns this evening. We had college football playoff rankings announced tonight as well. We've got college football going on right now as we speak, and we have a miracle. Central Michigan actually scores a late touchdown. It's 37-10 right now for Toledo late. This game is not going to get there. We bet the over 51 in this game, and we're getting to 47 due to Central Michigan's ineptness on offense. 31-13 Bowling Green right now. There's like 2 minutes left in this game. They're up by 18. They were laying 9.5. And Ball State and Buffalo is a wild one tonight. Ball State are up 45-37. They have the football right now at midfield. There's about 5 minutes left in the game. And Buffalo were just down by 2 touchdowns. They just scored. It's been going back and forth, but Ball State are starting to pull away. And the Buffalo Bulls, once again, are about to lose one of these primetime midweek nationally televised football games. NHL hockey. So we got games that are just beginning right now, including the Calgary Flames and the Vancouver Canucks. I played a parlay to beat this line earlier. I took the Kansas Jayhawks money line and the Vancouver Canucks money line. Cam Stewart in the house. Cam, what's your pick for the Calgary Flames and the Vancouver Canuck game?
I like the Canucks. I like the Canucks minus 1.5 in this spot. Also, a Canucks parlay with basically Vancouver minus 230 with the Kraken. It turns to plus money, and I'm basically, Gabe, betting Kraken minus 1.5, Vancouver minus 1.5, and parlaying them both. And I will take the Kraken. I'll lay 55 cents with Seattle.
One of the biggest disappointments, I would say. Listen, the Vancouver Canucks are 7-3-3 on the season. So it's not terrible, but by their standards, or at least what Rick Tocchet wants the standard to be, it's not good enough. They've got 17 points, and one of the reasons why is they're not a very good home team. And in fact, I've been talking about this, they're not just not a very good home team, they're a bad home team. The Vancouver Canucks guys have won 7 games this year. 6 of their wins are on the road. 6-1 on the road. They're 1-2-3. 1-2-3. That's their home record. 1-2-3, including a home loss to the Calgary Flames earlier this year, in which they blew a 4-1 lead on the opening night of the season, actually. Let's bring in Andrew McKinnis. McKinnis is still scoreless here. What are your thoughts on the Canucks and the Flames game tonight?
Guys, I've really been buying into the second half of back-to-backs, playing the overs. I think it used to be a thing, and people would say, "Well, fade this team second half of a back-to-back." But I think you go deeper. You look at fading a team second half of a back-to-back after they win. And that's the case with the Canucks, or excuse me, with the Flames, right? I mean, coming off that good victory against the LA Kings, a low-scoring victory, be it. And you look at the fact of the matter is we have this Canucks team that will not be happy after the ass kicking they had on Saturday night. There's a lot of motivating factors here in this one. And I still don't believe in this blue line of the Calgary Flames whatsoever. I still think it's weak. Underlying number says that they should probably start to regress a little bit. People are sleeping on this offense, though. They have some guys that want to prove something to people, and they also have a top line that's not too bad. So I'm on the over in this one. If Vancouver gets it right at home, Gabe, I think they get it right in a big way.
All right, how about this? Guys, the Vancouver Canucks have given up the first goal of the game in 7 consecutive hockey games, which is absolutely insane.
That
right?
is.
That they consistently give up the first goal of the game. I just took them to score the first goal of the game at minus 163.
I like your style.
I'm going against the angle here.
Yes.
Because you know what? It's almost a success that they've not given up a goal in 5 minutes. I'm telling you, the Canucks' MO this year is they give up a goal on the first shift, the first minute, whatever. It's like, oh, boom, boom, hey, it's 1-0. And then they come back and win after, right? So they don't panic when they're down a goal. But hard to believe, Cam and McKinnis, 7 consecutive hockey games, they've given up the first goal of the game. I say the buck stops here tonight in Vancouver. They score the first goal of the game.
How about nobody keeps the lead? How about over 1.5 goals first period live bet at plus 120? For a game that ended up dropping the puck at 6.5 over minus 105, it was 6 all day. Now you can get plus 120 on the first period over 1.5. No matter who starts this game with a goal, I feel like the other team might bounce back. Wouldn't be shocked to see a 1-1 after one.
What do you think of the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Seattle Kraken hockey game? I didn't think enough of it to pull the trigger on it, although Although
it's such a
I respect
crap
it.
game.
I respect
Yeah,
it.
no, I
respect
like
it.
crap
Oh.
games, but he's right. He's right. Like,
yeah,
it's
no, this
horrible.
game I was like, nah. Like
Yeah.
I got the Warriors in the Maverick game. I got Klay Thompson props. I got money on Duke and Kentucky basketball. I got the Canucks and Flames. I didn't need to add the Blue Jackets and Kraken to the equation. But to me, at the time before the game, now it's only plus 120, but the Kraken, I don't think the Kraken can be trusted as a big favorite personally. Columbus have been struggling as of late, so I just sort of stayed away, but I didn't trust the Kraken. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, the only bet that I'm on is actually a player prop, Gabe. It's the only one I've actually bet is Jordan Eberle to get a point, minus 125. I feel like, look, Jordan Eberle isn't, he isn't the Eberle of old, right? But he's still an important factor of this team. He's the captain of the team, and I feel like you get a better price on him from a prop perspective because he isn't the old Eberle we knew him to be. He's gotten a point in 4 straight games, and let's not forget, he's playing the Blue Jackets. And you got to think they got some confidence after that strong win over the Vegas Golden Knights. And when I say strong win, I mean like a strong team win. Down 2-0 in that game, come back and win in overtime. That has to feel good for that team. So, there's always spots, guys, where you try and find out, is this team going to be flat against the Blue Jackets, flat against the Habs, flat against the Sharks? I don't think this is a Kraken team that will be flat against anybody. They need wins. I feel like they're not going to mess around here.
All right, you know what? Quick college basketball in-game play on the way out here before the break. I think Queens, not from New York, but Queens from North Carolina, plus 24.5 in-game against Utah are live.
Your main event, Tale of the Tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6 foot 8. Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
Throws that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top.
Oh! Off-balanced him a little bit. Takedown right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to Kimura that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has of getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round 1 halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that position. That's beautiful work. Henry's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the thunder from. Oh, he's out! He's out!
This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency. The Pips, the Players, the Hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. It's the Twisted Tuesday. So, yeah, Tommy Lorenzo will join us later. We got Rick Saratella. And Rick Saratella is actually coming to Vancouver for the Grey Cup. Rick is a scout with the Edmonton Elks. And he'll be in town for the Grey Cup. Our boy Avery from Edmonton is making the trip for the Grey Cup. Of course, Hustler, Andrew Patterson, is going to be in the house for the Grey Cup. So we're going to have a big party later in the week in Vancouver, but McInnes is soft in the Maritimes. No Grey Cup for McInnes this year. Come on, McInnes. This is means you're soft. Big CFL. Big CFL fan. Like, it's a who's who. Who's going to be? Yeah. Same with Cam. Fake Argo fan, Cam.
Yeah. I'm a CFL fan. I bet on whoever I bet. You're right, Morency. I'm cheap. Like, I'm not flying Vancouver and back. I got to pick my spots. Sorry. Got a mortgage.
Yeah, I'd rather go to Spain for like 5 or 6 days than go see you in Vancouver. I'm sorry. I'm not flying to Vancouver. That's the longest flight path in Canada. I'd rather go the other way and go somewhere warm. I'm not going to see you in Vancouver. Come on, you crazy? I'm going to pay $1,000.
Go see the championship game.
Well, I'm obviously not insulting you, Gabe. I'm just saying, with the way flights are now, there's no way I'm making that trip. I would have had to have one hell of a CFL season to want to go to Vancouver to see the Grey Cup. Put it that way.
7-hour flight, McInnes? Is that what it is?
Oh, you should. I'll put icing on it. You should have told me this year, and you could afford it. I'm like 32 games over 500 in the CFL. Literally, we're literally 32 games over 500 right now. Another crushing weekend. We went 5-1 this week in the CFL playoffs. 6 picks, 5-1. The week before was 4-2, so we went 9-3 in the last 2. But yeah, we killed it all year, and we plan on crushing it in the end. No, I wouldn't be flying around for the Grey Cup either, unless it was unless I don't know Metallica or something was playing a halftime show. It was like the most epic. You know, it was the most epic party of all time, but I can't say with the Jonas Brothers that it is. So,
Gabe, I gotta say, you killed me with that.
That's reason enough not to go to the game.
I'm not a Jonas Brothers fan, but every year I just wait for you to complain about who's singing at halftime. If it's not someone that you like, you're like, why the hell do they have this? Because look at the charts. People like him. You might not like him, but people do like those who those people
fans
are.
are older. You got to play like a classic rock band or something. April Wine would do better than the Jonas Brothers.
You guys like rock.
The Jonas Brothers have zero to do with number one football.
Oh.
Like they have nothing to do with like nobody that likes football likes the Jonas Brothers.
I agree.
So, like, the Super Bowl, I understand. The Super Bowl, I get. Yeah. It's Super Bowl, it's like, all right, let's get the biggest possible star because we want non-football fans watching Rihanna right at the half or Taylor Swift or whatever the hell they get, right? The CFL is not the same, right? It's not like people around the world are like, oh, who's playing at the I mean, put it this way, like even the AFL championship in Australia, they had Katy Perry. I'd much rather Katy Perry than the Jonas Brothers.
The Grey Cup is highly watched, though. You guys know that. It's very well viewed.
Yeah, but who likes the Jonas Brothers? 14-year-old girls?
14-year-old girls?
Like,
that's the whole thing.
Who likes the Jonas Brothers?
Audience. That's the whole thing.
Who
I
likes
believe
these
that
rock
McInnes
bands
actually
and
likes the Jonas Brothers.
Who likes these metalheads and rock bands that you'd want to see? Way fewer people.
When have they ever had a metal band at the Grey Cup or the Super Bowl? They never have once ever.
No, McInnes, I usually defend you, but you're off base right now. Like,
no, well, I mean,
again, bring a BC band. I didn't like. What do you talk, Jonas Brothers? That is not the audience.
Pretty clear, Cam. Should be Loverboy. Should be Loverboy.
Oh, Reno and Loverboy.
Everybody's working for the weekend. Turn me loose.
Yeah. Put it this way, I don't think my girlfriend is going to be waiting while I'm watching the Grey Cup, sweating out bets, waiting to watch whatever song you were just singing.
We're not concerned what your girlfriend is doing during the Grey Cup, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
But nobody wants to listen to these rock songs that 60-year-old men like either, right? You guys aren't the age demographic they're probably targeting with some of these people. They want people that are casuals.
The ones that actually like love the CFL. Older dudes. Right. That's the whole point.
No,
I get it. But it just cracks me up. Like a really popular country singer, and Gabe's like, "Why is this guy performing?" It's like he's top of the charts.
But you know, it's a bad argument. You don't have a popular country singer. If Garth Brooks was doing a damn game, I wouldn't be complaining.
That guy's amazing. Great storyteller, too.
He is good.
Nice call it.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6'8". Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
With that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top.
Oh! Off-balanced him a little bit. Takedown right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to Kimura that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round one halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that positioning. That's beautiful work. Hender's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the bottom from. Oh, he's out! He's out!
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, Sirius XM Channel 159, the SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. I'm getting my play in here on the Duke and Kentucky over 165.5 in game. I'm already on the over this game, but let's go again here. I already got 159.5, so we just went over 165.5, and it's 50-44 right now with 16.5 minutes left. I also want to say for any Taylor Swift fans tuning into the program right now, I, unlike Cam Stewart, I'm a fan. I think she's great. Great artist. I wish her continued success, and I wish her and Travis lifelong eternal happiness. That's all I wanted to say.
No, the thing is, Gabe, you brought up the best line. You know what the best line is? It's not the band I hate, it's their fans. Taylor Swift is amazing artist. She lost her catalog. She got it all back. And, you know, that's all I'm going to say. My girlfriend loves Taylor Swift. But you know what? I'll leave it at that. Her fans.
Yeah, see, now you just dug yourself a deeper hole. Don't mess with the Swifties.
You're right. You're right.
What are you doing?
Stop threatening to kill me and burn down my house and, like, all these other. Okay. You know what? You win. I quit. I'm sorry. I didn't mean any ill will. You're right, Gabe. Great. Everything's cool.
Hey, listen, I've said this in the past. I've said this in the past before, but if I'm the Buffalo Bills, I'm not expending any hospitality to her. I'll say, listen, you want to buy a suite, you can buy a suite, but we're not rolling out the red carpet. You got to hire your own security. We're not bending over backwards for your appearance at the game. But with that being stated, it is a big football game, McKinnis. What's your pick for the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs?
How many nice calls are the Chiefs going to get? I don't know. I mean, is it going to be a block field goal again? I don't know what's going to happen in that game. Look, give me the Bills in the first half. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to forget about the full game. I'm going to look at the first half. I like how the Bills been playing lately. You know, people have a lot to say about your Buffalo Bills, Gabe, but I like them. I think that they've been establishing the run game a little bit lately. And this Chiefs team, to me, is about to get exposed. I think that Buffalo has an underrated defense. I'm tired of seeing this Chiefs team win games in all kinds of different ways. I'm impressed with how they can win low scoring. They can win high-scoring games a little bit. They don't have that playmaker this year. I don't care. They don't have that playmaker this year, and guess what? The Bills have some guys that can make those big plays when it comes down the stretch. I don't want to trust them for a full game, though, which is why I'm just betting the first half with the Buffalo Bills on the money line.
Don't trust them for the full game, says Andrew McInnes. When you just said, though, you're tired of hearing things about the Buffalo Bills. I think people have been pretty gratuitous towards the Buffalo Bills. People see them. Josh Allen's an MVP candidate. I think people see them as legitimate Super Bowl contenders, but they've got to beat the Chiefs. You know, the last 5 times the Bills have played the Chiefs, the Bills have beaten them 3 times. The problem is they've lost the 2 times in the playoffs. So there's been a pattern of Buffalo actually now beating them in the regular season, but then last year they lost by 3. They lost that crazy game a couple of years ago in overtime. So they've got to prove it and be able to beat them in the postseason. But it's going to be a fun game on Sunday. And speaking of Buffalo, the Buffalo Bulls miraculously have come back and tied the football game.
Amazing.
They actually scored a late touchdown. They needed the 2. They get the 2. It's now 45-45. Late night action going on in Amherst, New York right now, outside of Buffalo. 45-45. And I've always said this about the Buffalo Bulls, too, over the years. It really is kind of unique. Like, you know, their basketball program's been good. It made the NCAA tournament before, and they always their AD is good at hiring good coaches, you notice. Like, they always lose their coach. Hell, Nate Oates was there, right? Leopold was there. Like, basketball and football, they always have really good coaches that, like, leave after. It's sort of a stepping stone school for them. But it's always amazed me that how loyal the Buffalo fans are. Like, the Buffalo Sabres suck, and people go to their games. The Buffalo Bills haven't won ever before, like, in the modern era. They won, like, the AFL championship years ago. But their fans are super loyal, yet they really don't care about the Buffalo Bulls. The games, like, you know what I mean? Like, if you figure Bills Mafia or somebody would say, all right, you know what, let's get a little thing going and start going to Buffalo Bull games, they don't go. Like, you know, I was in a sports store in Buffalo, and I wanted to get some Buffalo Bull gear, and it was easier to get Duke and Michigan stuff than it was, like, Buffalo stuff, like, in Buffalo. Like, they're kind of non-existent, which is strange because they're such good sports fans. So, like, it's baffling that they don't support the team at all, like, at all. And, you know, I guess because whatever, Amherst is kind of like a richer part, and they don't like going there. It's not Buffalo, whatever. But I've never really understood that. But the Bulls are a good team this year. If they win this game, they're bowl eligible with this win tonight. They were 3.5-point favorites in this game. I got them on the money line. So it looks like we could be going to overtime here in Buffalo. The Columbus Blue Jackets have a 2-0 lead on the Seattle Kraken.
Wow, yeah.
I should have listened to my gut.
You should have listened to because your gut, that's a smart gut right now. I got to tell you, the Kraken, McInnes talked about it. They've been real gritty coming back against good teams and stuff, but this is a National Hockey League. They're like, oh, here comes Columbus. And you know what I mean? Like, and you got to do better. I will take them live, though, Morency. What am I getting? Plus 1.5 plus money?
Yeah, it's not 2.5. It's 1.5. If it was 2.5, I'd jump in.
Oh, if it was 2.5, I'd smash it. But I'll take them plus 1.5. We got a lot of hockey left.
If they win this game, guys, they're 6-7-2 on the season. For how people were talking about this Blue Jackets team, it was like they're going to be the worst team ever assembled coming into this year.
People like me. People like me. Who, like when you said, I said, who's people talking bad about the Bills? But I was one of those people. And in fact, I bet their season win total under 68.5 points. And I'm not overly happy about this strong start. Well, listen, they have lost like 4 straight games or whatever, right? They played emotional hockey at the start of the season. Reality will catch up to them, but it has been a nice start. But yeah, my gut just told me that my gut told me tonight that I was like, you know, this is a big trap for the Kraken. I wouldn't touch that. But what about the Islanders and Oilers, McInnes? You got any opinion on this? They're tied at 1 right now, late in the second period, low scoring.
I had a pregame ticket on the under in that game. I thought that the Islanders were going to do their best to play their hockey, and their hockey means just low-scoring, boring hockey. You couldn't pay me to go to an Islanders game because I just don't think there's going to be goals in those games, and I can usually respect it.
I don't think that's very fair.
You go to Halifax Moosehead games, bro. Come on.
McInnes, I'll tell you this. I went to
I live in
Habs game. I went to an
Halifax.
Habs game with George Kurtz. It was a great game. Both goalies stood on their head. Montembeault and
McInnes,
Sorokin.
Pot shots at the Grey Cup, pot shots at me, pot shots at Vancouver. Now, I wouldn't pay to see the Islanders play.
Dude, I don't care about you guys and your 60-year-old loser songs and bands.
Yeah.
That was
hey, Loverboy has sold like 100 million records, bro. So settle down.
Settle down on Loverboy, man. They're amazing. Canadian legends.
Go for a drive and listen to The Weeknd, all right?
I'm not allowed to talk about any artists anymore, other than ones
I'm
over 50.
You know who The Weeknd are, Gabe. There you go. I'm impressed. I'm sure you know who they are.
You know who The Weeknd are. Everyone, come on, McKinney. You think we live under a rock? What is this guy talking about?
Hey, listen, if you went on a music trivia show, you, me, and Cam, you would not be one of the top two contestants on the show.
We would kick you off the
like
panel.
modern music,
Bye-bye.
old music, whatever. Like, you'd be in a lot of trouble. Like, so, yeah, I wouldn't go down that road.
So we love you, McInnes. Note you're great for NHL shot props. You're on our panel for that.
Yeah, good call. We put him on a panel. I'll say, kid doesn't know music. We'll put him on the shots on goal prop.
Great. Yeah, great.
You know what? For all the
That's
viewers
fair.
out there that follow Gabe on Twitter, the next time he's ranting about something that's new level, just wait for me to put that Homer Simpson old man yelling at cloud, hating on something that every single young person likes, but he doesn't
like
like
the
it.
college football playoffs. It sucks.
So nobody else should like it.
right.
And just I'll remember that one, Gabe. But look,
No,
I like the
I'm not
under
saying
and
no.
the live under. Under 4.5 is worth a play in that game.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6 foot 8. Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
Knows that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top. Oh!
Off balanced him a little bit. Takedown to net. Brandon Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to Kimura that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round one halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that position. That's beautiful work. Hender's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the hook to throw. Oh, he's out! He's out!
And he's down! And he is done! The king has returned! Francis Ngannou is back!
This is Sports Rage. I'm Morency, the Pistol Players, Oscars, the people who bust them. Everybody else in between. The Golden State Warriors are up 33-27 on the Dallas Mavericks. The first quarter is coming to an end right now. And Andrew McInnes wanted to bet the Mavericks in the first half, but he pulled the trigger by accident on the first quarter. So there that one goes. So now you're going to be hoping that this just continues, right? I've been there before, and now you got to sit here and watch the second half, and you're just going to be burning if the Mavericks come back. Or you'll be like, all right, good. They didn't come back here. But you know how Lord Gambler works. Like, he's going to twist a knife in your back here, McInnes.
I'll be honest with you, Gabe. I wish I could tell you I remained disciplined, but I didn't. And I took the live team total over 58.5 at even money. So we're back in play. And this is the first half.
Okay, all right.
Who cares about discipline? Have fun, McInnes. This is what we're here for.
Yeah. Yeah. If we get 59 points this half, we're happy. If we don't, we lost 2 bets. So let's try and get the earlier option. I'll take that. Good game though, guys. I was looking forward to this one all day. I'm not a huge every NBA game fires me up, but I was looking forward to this one.
You know what? So it is interesting with Klay Thompson back. You're right. And I went Grinch style tonight. Everybody's Klay Thompson props. Everybody's all in on Klay Thompson. And I bet him under 15.5 points and under 2.5 3-point shots made. So for the record, he's got 5 points after the first quarter. So a pretty good first quarter for him. He's 1 for 3, hit 1 3-point shot, 2 for 2 from the free throw line for 5 points for Klay Thompson to start 33-27, high scoring game just for the prop players as far as the Warriors are concerned. Curry's got 12 points. Melton's got 5 points. A bunch of people have like 2 points, 2 points, 2 points. Green's got 5 points. All right, so NHL hockey we talked about.
Did the Flames
the Kraken?
Calgary just
and
scored.
Now, God, that's the 8th game. And now I lose with that. I took the Canucks.
I didn't think it were going to get worse for me, but now I'm going to lose money and get beat down by everybody in
That's
life.
the 8th straight game that they've given up the first goal.
Wow.
It's getting old, man. Like, seriously. It's getting old. Like, if I was I've had enough of this.
I'd be pissed. That's a sign of a team that's just like, you got to be hungrier, man. Like, you can't let that stuff happen. You're right, Gabe. That's unacceptable. Couple games,
8 games in a row now.
No, that cannot happen. That's brutal. That is brutal. How?
The Canucks are now plus 100 for the record. You almost have to take them, but it's frustrating.
I'm taking both teams that are down right now. Whatever happens. Hey, McInnes, I'm not going to show any discipline
you can take
either.
the Kraken plus 280 on the money line.
Yeah, who cares?
Well, Cam you don't ever really show a lot of discipline.
No, I don't.
So it's not like
I don't.
If you want to go Costanza and do the opposite, then you should show the discipline.
Hey, man.
Is there another goal?
I did pretty good with the Dolphins. We had a good night last night. Good. The only game I got a little bit because I had a good night. I went on Pacific. Good call by you on Hawaii. They won by 10. So there it is. I admit when I'm
Pacific
wrong.
had their moments.
They
had their moments. They were up for they're actually up at the half, 37-35, but Hawaii kind of pulled away and blew them out in the second half. All right, so I want to get to we got to get to the Grey Cup with McInnes. End of the first period right now. The first period just came to an end. The Calgary Flames were up 1-0 after the first period of play. And we're in overtime right now in Amherst, New York. And the Ball State scores the field goal in overtime. So we'll see what Buffalo can do here. 48-45 for the Ball State Cardinals. I actually have Buffalo on the money line, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll keep our eye on this. But Grey Cup, let me get the updated number. And, it came down, actually. It was 10.5, and it's 9.5 right now. I'm not happy to see that because I didn't bet it yet, and I was liking the 10.5. For the record, I did get in on an odds boost. There was a sports book out there. They have an odds boost for the Grey Cup, over under 49.5. Instead of minus 110, it's plus 100. So whatever. You save the 10 cents, but they maxed me out at $220 on that. But I did put that in. McInnes, what are your thoughts on the Grey Cup? And like I said, it was 10.5. Now it's 9.5. Over under 49.5.
Yeah, my thoughts are this. Look, Chad Kelly did not play on the Argos for the first handful of games, more than a handful, 2 handfuls almost of the CFL
like 12
season.
of them. He didn't really play. Like he didn't even come back the first week after.
Right? Yeah, 10,
no, I don't even
right.
think he played in the first game right after. It took a week or two, like for him after even he got I think he played 6 games this year. But whatever, go on. I know your point.
Week 10 or 11. I mean, you know where I was going with that, guys. Look, I just think that he's not worth that much to the spread that the odds makers are putting him towards. And of course, the backups options throughout the season were Arbuckle and Cameron Dukes. People are worried about Arbuckle and his turnovers. You know, he doesn't have the ability to hold on to the ball. He kind of is a little bit of a liability that way with interceptions or fumbles. But at the end of the day, if we know what this line would have been with a guy like Chad Kelly, and it probably would have been around 3 in the hook, okay, on a neutral field, and you're going to give me 9.5, 10.5 earlier in the day today, I'm going to take the dog. This is a 9-man league where it's not easy to win any night, okay, but covering the point spread is a big thing here. And people are going to look at Winnipeg and say 4 straight appearances of the Grey Cup. This is a team that has to win. This other team's without their number one quarterback. It's not that easy. And you look at the matchups Toronto had against Winnipeg this season, they were very successful. Their pass rush was very good. It bothered the passing game for Winnipeg. And would you guys believe me if I told you Winnipeg was dead last this year in the league in passing yards per game? You know, the defense, looked okay for Winnipeg. But again, it's their scoring that's helping them out this year. They're not really a team living and dying by their defense. They have a strong offense. But I think Toronto can get to them. They can run the ball with Kadeem Carey. The biggest play I want to give out to the viewers today and listeners is if your book, no matter where you are, offers you a relatively good number on Kadeem Carey, CFL player prop, I think that's the way to go. Whether they're winning or losing the game, establishing the run game is very, very important for the Toronto Argonauts. I think they will early on. I think Carey has a great game.
Well, there'll be props for him. So what do you want to bet? That he's going to score a touchdown, rushing yards, receiving yards? What do you want? What are you saying?
His rushing yard prop. We should get like 75.5, I think, something like that.
That'll be lower. A little lower. A little bit lower.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6'8". Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
With that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top. Oh!
Off balanced him a little bit. Take down the head. Right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to get more of that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round one halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that positioning. That's beautiful work. Henry's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the foot control. Oh, he's out! He's out!
He's in trouble! And he's down! And he is done! The king has returned! Francis Ngannou is back!
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency, 61-57 right now for the Duke Blue Devils over the Kentucky Wildcats. There's 8.5 left in the game. The in-game total right now is 156.5. It closed to 159.5, and the spread is 7.5 right now. So it's we're sort of right there. I'm on that, and I'm also on. I jumped in on an in-game over 165.5. It slowed down, but I'm hoping that with some fouls and some free throws, that we can change the meter here a little bit and get it back into the 160s. All right, so we were talking about the Grey Cup, and good points, McKenzie, but I will say it's their 5th consecutive Grey Cup championship, Winnipeg. And one thing, too, with Winnipeg is their passing attack was pretty bad earlier in the year. Right, Collaros was hurt. Strevler was in. Strevler's not really a great passer. He's a good runner, but you know what I mean? You're right. All their wide receivers were hurt for the first month of the season or whatever. But Collaros and a passing attack have been better over the last, let's say, month or so. You saw last week Lawler absolutely kill it. That's a good prop right there. Lawler's going to score a touchdown, but they don't have player props up yet. But CFL touchdown props are always you got bad numbers. They're always
really
super
bad.
high. It's annoying. Yeah, it's annoying. That's why I don't really play them that much. But I do agree with you. And I was going to say it was a good call by you when you said the spread would be 3 because I did see an advanced number actually. FanDuel had hypothetical Grey Cup matchups that were up for betting. It was up on the board, and the advanced number was 3.5. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers. If Chad Kelly didn't get hurt, that was what the advanced. So it probably would have changed to 3.
Crazy.
Let's call it 3. That's crazy. What it was. It was 3.5.
I mean,
now
Gabe,
it should
FanDuel Canada.
But what? Yeah, but when it came out, no, it was FanDuel everywhere too. I was on FanDuel New Jersey, and they had the 4 before the semifinals. They had all the different matchups and the point spreads, and I looked at them all, and it was 3.5. But I should note they set the number at 8 after. So they waited. I was hitting refresh every 10 minutes after the game. It took a couple hours, and then they finally posted a number, all the books, and it was 8. And the market quickly bet it up to 10.5 within an hour. So now it's finally been bet back to 9.5.
Well, let's not forget, these are the same CFL markets that thought that Nate Rourke was the next Tom Brady coming from the NFL to save the CFL again and gave the BC Lions plus 185 to win the Grey Cup. You can't trust these guys. I mean, the fact that this is a spot, and I'm not.
You're on fire tonight, McKinnis. A lot of better.
I'm just saying that, in a lot of sports, right, we talk about the injured player theory. And I'm being serious is that, this team's going to look, pick it up. Connor McDavid gets injured. Guess what happens? Draisaitl plays well. These guys play well. They win 2 games, right? This guy goes out. They play. Austin Matthews goes out. The Leafs finally start scoring on the power play, right? So why is this guy that only played 6 games worth 7.5 points, right? Sure, Winnipeg could win by double digits, but I think it's a really good, just quite a thing to look at here. This isn't Patrick Mahomes to Chad Henne. This is Chad Kelly.
Chad Henne's a legend.
Chad Henne, Kansas City would have been in trouble that year. So settle down.
You guys get what I mean.
Respect on Chad Henne's name.
I understand what you mean. Another comparison would have been better, but yes.
Oh God, Tim! I don't want it to happen because I'm on the Warriors, but of course now the Mavericks are up 40-39. Here they come.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah. You know what though? You're looking good though. They've already scored 13 points, bro. They're up to 40. So your team total here is in play for them. So your team total is in play. You know what? Good point though, McKinnis. That put it this way. There's a couple of Canadian, Bet365 has a lot of Canadian customers, and there's a bunch of new Canadian books. But as you stated, the odds makers don't care about the CFL, bro. Right? They're not losing sleep over it. So they also don't really know it all that well. And so it's a good call by you that the public, they just move the number because everyone's betting it, bro. You know what I mean? They see for whatever reason, people love BC all the time. I was one of them. BC. They, it wasn't like a bunch of odds makers are sitting there in Las Vegas or New Jersey saying, you know what? We really got to watch out for the BC Lions this year.
That'd be a great conversation if it was true.
But they just sort of noticed, Cam, that look, every one of these clowns are betting the BC Lions, so we better, let's make they catch on, but they're not losing sleep over it. And like you said, McKinnis, nobody thinks the Argos are going to win this game. Everybody thinks the Bombers are going to kill them.
And they might lose but not cover, right? Or they might win the game but not cover.
Well, they played 2 years ago in the Grey Cup, and everyone thought the Bombers were going to kill them that time, and they lost the game outright. Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, guys.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6 foot 8. Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
That lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top. Oh!
Off balanced him a little bit. Takedown. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to Kimura that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round one halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that positioning. That's beautiful work. Hender's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the from. Oh, he's out! He's out!
All right, this is Sports Rage, and it looks like it's just a bad take night on this show by everybody. Our guest, including myself, I said that Klay Thompson wouldn't hit 3 3-point shots. He's already 3 for 5 tonight. So Klay Thompson's 3 for 5. He's got 11 points in the game, and now the Mavericks are up. The Warriors were up 33-27 after the first quarter of play. Now it's 48-41 for the Dallas Mavericks. Meanwhile, the Kentucky Wildcats have clawed back, though, into the game. That's the good news. The bad news is because they've come back, they're coming back because they've shut Duke down suddenly. They're outscoring Duke 24-18 in the second half. Duke are up 64-61 right now, so it should be a fun finish, but I don't know about this total as the game is slowing down. But, hey, the in-game total is 155.5. Let's bring in Tommy Lorenzo right now, a fellow Dodger fan in the house. Good to see you, Tommy. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Pleasure, Gabe and Cam. Thanks for having me.
A lot of Dodger fans. A lot. Don't you think, Gabe?
Yes. Well, we are the best organization in sports, so I don't understand why. See, that's what Dave Roberts said basically after a couple of drinks when they won. He said, not only are we the model franchise in baseball, but I think we're the best organization in all of sports.
Wow. A few
strong words.
You can say those types of things.
Yeah.
No, but they have fans, but there's not a ton. You know what it is? It's Rob Vino. That's why. Rob Vino's a Dodger fan, too, so it feels like there's a lot, Cam, but that's it. It ends there. There's no who else is a Dodger fan?
It ends there. Well, a lot of people on the West Coast, I would assume. And
our boy Matthias is a bandwagon Dodger fan.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, funny.
He lives in LA. No, but I say that respectfully. Like if they're bad, he's not he's not losing sleep at night if they lose, but if they win, he's happy. Right? It's one of those, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. With the Dodgers, I mean, you have the loyal fans that kind of tail off if they're not doing well. I think it's hard to find bandwagon Dodger fans. I think it's hard. I mean, I think the Yankees, Yankees, Red Sox, you find people that kind of latch on them. But with the Dodgers, I think it's either, you're a Dodger fan from young. I don't think.
Or you hate them. You're right.
Well, there's a lot of hate.
And I never really thought of it because we didn't win for that much, or that long, right? So, but I get it. There was an arrogance level, and I'm a Michigan fan too, and it's the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Michigan fans are pretty arrogant for a team. We've won once and like twice in the last 30 years type of deal, right? But there's level of arrogance. But I don't really view it that way as being a lifelong Dodger fan since a kid. But people will kind of look at us, Tommy, like we're Duke or something, right?
Yeah,
like we're almost like the new Yankees. Oh, you buy your players and the Dodgers not fair and this and blah, blah, cry this and cry that. Like, shut up. We had the highest rated World Series in years with the Dodgers and Yankees. So I hate to say it, but nobody cares about it. Yeah.
I will say this, though, Gabe, for a guy that's in a metal band and lived on the streets, you do like a lot of teams that are at the elite level. Like, other than the Raptors, you don't like any teams that are like nosebleed crap. Like, you know what I mean? Like Michigan high, Dodgers high.
Yeah, but
Bills.
Michigan have won two titles, like I said, since the 40s. They won in the late 90s and they won last year.
Yep.
So it's not like they win a lot. You know what I mean, they're a popular team, but they don't win a lot. The Dodgers have sprinkled. You know, this is kind of the best run the Dodgers have ever had, actually, in franchise history, to be honest. Kind of like going along with the 50s or whatnot. And they want more, right? They're talking about this will be their decade, so to speak. They got Ohtani under contract. We'll see if they get Sasaki. If they pull off the Sasaki deal, and hell, who knows? I think it's worth a bet, guys, at Juan Soto. What do you think, Tommy, about Juan Soto ending up with the Dodgers at plus 800, just as a fun bet, plus 800? And even though I should know better, the Blue Jays are like, let me see the updated Blue Jay number right now. But it's like deja vu all over again, guys. It's just like last year. Yeah, John Heyman today in the New York Post. That was the big story. Blue Jays are all in on Soto, expecting to put together a huge package. What do you think, Tommy, for betting purposes? I'll get the new odds up here.
Well, didn't Shohei take a flight to Toronto supposedly, and he was about to sign there? Now they're saying
which wasn't true.
No, not true at all. They lied. He wasn't on the plane.
Yeah, so I don't know. 800 plus 800. I mean, I guess it's worth some pizza money. I don't know. I'd probably want more. It just doesn't seem very likely that Soto would end up there. Just like the Ohtani rumors, for some reason, people were saying his odds dropped. Toronto was like I think third or fourth favorite for a little bit there when all the rumors got going. But
the Blue Jays are 18-1 with Soto. That's why, like, the Dodgers are 8-1, and I think the Dodgers. Oh, look, if the Dodgers offered Soto money, I doubt he would say no, right? If they matched it, he was talking about how he wanted to play with Ohtani before. Also, the Dodgers pretty much have announced that they're moving Mookie Betts into the infield, that they don't want him playing the outfield anymore. So I think they'll re-sign Hernandez. You have Edman in center. You got Pages. They might go young. We'll see how it plays out. But so speaking of tonight, did you get any action in on this Duke-Kentucky game, Tommy? What are your thoughts on this one?
No action on Duke. I'm actually a Duke fan. But with college football early on in the season, I just take close looks. I don't get too involved till a few more weeks maybe. Then I'll start, getting involved a little bit. I did take a look a couple of games ago at that Michigan-Wake Forest game. Almost pulled the trigger on Wake Forest. I thought they were a good home dog. Didn't do it. Wish I would have. But, with college basketball, I like taking a look a little bit before I start, betting. Plus, I'm knee-deep in college football right now at NFL. That, with college basketball, I do wait till probably the end of November. Then I start going.
So tonight we had the college football playoff rankings that were announced, and we had a wild MAC game in Buffalo tonight. The Buffalo Bulls come back and win the football game, but they're now eligible for a bowl game. Tomorrow we got Northern Illinois and Akron, Eastern Michigan, Ohio, Kent State, Miami, Ohio. Tommy, do you get involved in these midweek MAC games at all, or is it too much of a circus for you to want to touch it?
No, I do. I had Ball State plus 4.5 tonight, so I was happy for me and you because you had Buffalo on the money line, which was the right play. I thought I was home free with with that bet, but it went into overtime, and it was a crazy finish. But yeah, no, I do like the MAC games. I think there are some betting opportunities there. Actually, tomorrow I'm leaning Eastern Michigan. I think it's too many points, 10.5, 11 points with Eastern Michigan. Ohio is one of the better teams in the MAC, but I think Eastern Michigan can go in as a road dog and keep it somewhat close. I think the line's a little too high. As far as the other games, I really like Miami of Ohio, but I don't know if I'm going to lay 30.5 points on a Wednesday night game. I'm not sure if I'm going to pull the trigger on that one. Not sure about that.
Wow.
These MAC games are a handicapping challenge all the time. Like, because there are big point spreads, and you really, they're always hard. It's never an easy handicap.
Would you not say though, Gabe, since we've started? Remember the first night, dogs went 2-0. Miami, Buffalo wins, but we got to cover. The dogs cover a lot more than the favorites do, in my opinion.
Well, you get these monster point spreads, but tonight Bowling Green covered. Toledo murdered Central Michigan tonight, so Buffalo was the only favorite not to cover, and it was such a short price. It went down to 3.5, and I didn't like laying 70 cents on it, but I know the Buffalo Bulls well enough to know not to lay 4 points. I was like, I think they can win this game. You know what? I want to hit this on the other side, guys. BYU just get no respect, this team, on a weekly basis when it comes to the point spreads. I'm seeing here now Kansas and BYU. BYU -3. We're like, seriously? Like, what am I missing here? Like, this isn't Kansas basketball. The football team is greatly overrated. More on the other side.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6'8". Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
With that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top. Oh!
Off balanced him a little bit. Takedown right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to get more of that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round one halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that positioning. That's beautiful work. Henry's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the hook from. Oh, he's out! He's out!
He's in trouble! And he's down! And he is done! The king has returned! Francis Ngannou is back!
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. Cam Stewart in the house with us. Tommy Lorenzo joining us. And I was just looking at this BYU team, and on a weekly basis, the point spreads are always a pick 'em or this. They don't get a lot of respect, or they're underdogs. They are one of these, I hate to use the term destiny teams, but if you watch that game against Utah last week, you know what I mean? You would see, like, they're one of those, almost like the Chiefs. It's like, no, they can't win this. They're back. Like, oh, it's up against it. Like, they were in fourth down. They were in fourth down like 5 times, man. 4th and 3, 4th and 7. And like on 1st and 2nd and 3rd down, they'd get sacked, they'd lose yards. And like, it really was one of those just sort of miracle type of wins to beat Utah. And I don't think Kansas is that good. So I know it's, you're coming off a big win, but these guys are playing, they're on a collision course with the Colorado Buffaloes, which is an amazing story if it comes to pass. I can't wait to see that if it happens. The Colorado Buffaloes versus the BYU Cougars, guys, were spot with a playoff on the line. What's that, Cam? What do you want to say?
No, I was saying, if people don't remember, BYU scored on the last throw of the game, and it was not from, it was like a 30-yard a bomb to beat Oklahoma State. That saved their season. And it was just one of those, and people are like, I can't believe they won. You're right. The destiny term applies because that's the thing. And Oklahoma State's having a horrible year, and BYU, they were losing the whole game. Oh, man, that was a crazy win that they had. You're right. There might be a team of destiny.
So that's one of the big games. Not a lot of sort of marquee matchups this week. It's sort of the calm before the storm. All these big games are coming up in the next couple of weeks. But as far as the top 25 and the playoff implication games, the other big one, Tennessee and Georgia. Tommy, any thoughts on this one? So it looks like Nico's good to go, they say, for the Tennessee quarterback. And the Georgia Bulldogs are 10-point favorites. Have they shown you enough to be laying 10 points in a football game, Tommy, the Georgia Bulldogs?
It's going to sound strange for me to say they haven't, but I'm probably going to lay the 10. This line is just so bizarre, especially with the QB there. You thought the injury, maybe the line got skewed because of that. My power numbers only show Georgia being 3 or 4 points better, and you've seen Georgia against tough defenses. They've not played well. Going back to that Kentucky game and a few other games against good defenses, Carson Beck's not doing very well. So there's a lot of things here that don't make a lot of sense for this line to be at 10. Maybe Georgia, comes out angry bunch and just blows them out after what happened last week against Ole Miss. That might be the logic here. It's just a very strange line to me for it to be 10 points with Tennessee. And frankly, when it's that weird, I start looking the other way. I think Georgia may 2-touchdown win here maybe.
I see the Colorado Buffaloes are 10.5-point favorites against the Utah Utes. So the odds makers have caught up to Colorado. I've been riding them. I laid the points again last week at Texas Tech, but now we're getting into a pretty high territory. Texas lay 13.5 at Arkansas right now. Clemson are 10-point road favorites at Pittsburgh. Here's a fun one, and you know what? I'm kind of pulling for them to get into a bowl game, guys. And I was all over them last week, Tommy. The UCLA Bruins against the Iowa Hawkeyes. It was homecoming night. They were 0-3 on their home field. But UCLA are a very good road team. They've got 3 games outright wins on the road. They won in Hawaii. They won in Nebraska. They won at Rutgers. They've shown an ability to go on the road. Now they're going on the road here, but a traditional old school, they're used to this one. We got old school Pac-12 teams going head-to-head in Big Ten matchup right now. The Washington Huskies laying 3.5. But once again, the odds makers are respecting the UCLA Bruins here. We're only getting 3.5.
Yeah, the market has caught up to UCLA. They've been undervalued, like you said. Ethan Garbage is doing a solid job, their quarterback, playing very well, not making mistakes. And, they're playing hard for their coach. I like UCLA in this spot. I like the 3 in the hook here. Washington is inconsistent. I think they're well coached, but there's something about that team that, when they face a little adversity in a game, they tend to fold a little bit. So if UCLA comes out pretty well,
that guy makes bad mistakes. I think they'll be fine. Bad mistakes at the worst time.
Yeah, they feel the pressure. I think UCLA could be a live dog here for sure.
Yeah, I wish we were getting a little bit more, but they are a very good road team. And you know what, too? That offense is complicated with Bieniemy there. So they got Eric Bieniemy calling the plays. You got Foster on the sideline. People ridiculed the hire and called him out earlier in the year. But, dude, they're a covering machine, right? They're 6-3 against the spread right now. They're in all these football games. And if you look at the teams that they lost to the UCLA Bruins, they played 4 top 15 teams or whatever. They went to Baton Rouge. They played LSU. They went to Penn State. They hosted the Oregon Ducks, and they hosted Indiana at the Rose Bowl earlier in the year. So, that's not easy for any team. Yeah, any team would have some losses. So let's take a look at the NFL. What do you think about the big divisional tilt on Thursday, Tom, here with the Commanders and the Eagles?
Well, what I like about the Eagles is that their defense is surging pretty hard, and that's what you need to do against the Commanders. When your defense is on point and you can pressure Jaden Daniels a little bit, keep him under control, I think that's when you have a chance to win. I think the Eagles are surging. I think they're quietly, everyone's talking about the Lions and some of the other NFC teams, but the Eagles are very quietly putting their defense together very well. I think the offense will come along. I think they sputtered a little bit at the beginning, but I like their defense versus Washington here. Don't like the hook. But at 3.5, I'm probably leaning Eagles in this one.
Yeah, there's been so much focus all the time on Nick Sirianni and his interactions with the media or with fans. But as you stated, this defense, and I'm trying to find. I had this list up before of what they've done over since the bye week. But their defense, you got the Fangio defense in here, which I kind of question, but they've started to figure it out in a big time way. I've been riding the Commanders a lot this year, too. Yet they're kind of hitting a wall a little bit right now. Cam, what's your pick for the Commanders and the Eagles game?
Yeah, I want to take the Commanders, but something's telling me the Eagles are the play. Also, you got to remember one thing. Washington played a Pittsburgh team on a short week, a very physical team, where Philadelphia, as I said before, Morency, got basically a bye playing a horrible Dallas Cowboys team, not as physical. So I would say Washington's coming in this game a little more beat up because when you play the Steelers, you get hit, you get mauled. So lean to the Eagles to win this game. Spread's about right. I think the Eagles will probably win by around 4 to 7.
So the Eagles are laying 3.5. It's 48.5. Right now. Some big-time divisional games this week. You got this one, the Baltimore Ravens laying 3 points in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh haven't lost since Russell Wilson has taken over. The total is 48.5 in that football game. The Seattle Seahawks are getting 6.5. Their season has been slipping away, but when you look at the standings and the record, they're still in this thing in the NFC West, but they need to win a game that people don't expect them to win. All right, we'll wrap up with Tommy on the other side. We got Rick Saratella coming up as well.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6'8". Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
That lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top. Oh!
Off balanced him a little bit. Takedown right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to Kimura that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round one halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work!
Look at that positioning, that's beautiful work. Henry's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the throw. Oh, he's out! He's out!
And he's down! And he is down! The king has returned! Francis Ngannou is back!
All right, we got some drama in Atlanta right now. 72-72 in the Champions Classic. The Kentucky Wildcats have outscored Duke 36-26. 35-26 in the second half, and now we got a tie game. I'm on Kentucky plus the points, but I've also got the over. So I'm actually hoping for overtime because I got more on the overs than I do. I'm not really worried about blowing the point spread in overtime. I'd rather just get there, and I'll take my chances after. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, these teams, they're both in the bonus. So there's still going to be some free throw drama coming up here before we're done. All right, we only got a couple more minutes with Tommy Lorenzo. We appreciate his time. Tommy, I brought up the Baltimore and Pittsburgh game, big-time matchup, divisional matchup. They're longtime rivals, and one of the best new rivalries in the National Football League, sort of the new Manning and Brady, Colts and Patriots sort of tilt with the annual Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes Bowl. And I brought it up earlier. They play all the time, these teams. Generally, a couple of times they play twice a year because they play in the playoffs again. But the Bills have actually beaten them 3 of the last 5 times they played. Unfortunately for the Bills, the 2 games that they lost were in the playoffs that they lost to them. So they've been able to beat them in the regular season, Tommy.
Yeah, they have. And I think this is going to be a close one. I think the line is where it should be. I'm actually looking for the under in this game. I still think KC's defense shows up, but I don't think KC's offense is going to be able to do enough. I was a little concerned last week. Yes, Denver has a good defense, but at home, you expected a little more out of KC offensively, and it just wasn't there. I think it'll be a tough environment on the road for KC. Like we talked about off air, Mahomes knows when he's an underdog. But in this game, 23-20, 23-21 Buffalo win is what I see here, and I think it stays under the 46.
Yeah, interesting, because they've had a lot of track meets in the past when they played. But, Buffalo run the ball a lot more right now. This is going to have a playoff-type atmosphere to it. And it's really a shame for everybody, actually, just from, not everybody. It depends who you're a fan of. But just from a general fan perspective, that if KC would have lost last week, then, you know what, the 1 seed would be at stake in this game. Yeah, it's got to start somewhere. So Buffalo beats them. Maybe it starts a little bit of a spiral for the Chiefs at some point down the road. But what do you think about the Steelers and the Ravens game? As I stated, since Russell Wilson's taken over, the offense has been proficient. And this is an energized football team right now on both sides of the football. And they're getting 3 points on their home field. What do you think?
Yeah, this is another one where it's strange to see an AFC North matchup like this one. And the spread, or the total, I should say, is in the high 40s. It's just a different type of deal now.
I remember these teams in the past. The total was 37.5, 36.5. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was like that. Now it's like 10, 12 points more than what it usually is. I still have to lean towards Lamar Jackson here and the better quarterback. It's risky because, man, the Steelers always have the right game plan. You saw it last week against Washington. But I think the Ravens are still overall the better team and have the better quarterback. But you can't knock the Steelers with what they're doing and how Russell Wilson's been playing either.
All right, we've got about 2 minutes with you on the way out here. Anything else in the NFL? So you're in the you're on the West Coast. What do you think of the Chargers and the Bengals game on Sunday night? Kind of a must-win. If you look at the playoff picture, Denver are still holding on to the last playoff spot, as crazy as it sounds, with a 5-5 record. The Colts are behind them at 4-6, but the Colts aren't going anywhere with Joe Flacco. So the Bengals are 4-6. They're right there. But if they're going to actually do this, they need to start stringing some wins together. What do you think about the Sunday nighter against a resurgent Charger team right now?
Very interesting game. I just think the Chargers defense is going to be the difference in the game. The whole Harbaugh thing, I was a little skeptical at the beginning of the season. I'm like, it's going to take them a season or two to get going. Personnel changes there with the Chargers, but I mean, they've proved it to me. I was on them last week. I laid the big number. I'm probably going to be on them again here. I like them at home. They say the home field advantage isn't there at SoFi for them. I don't know how many Bengals fans are going to come out here to Southern California. I'm sure there'll be plenty. But, no, I like the Chargers at home. They're not laying a lot of points, and I just like their defense at home. I think they'll take care of business against the Bengals.
Tommy, where can people find you online?
At Sportsbook Tom on Twitter, and Cover the Weekend with the weekly podcast.
Great stuff as always, Tommy. Thanks for joining us.
My pleasure, Cam and Gabe. You take care. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Tommy.
Great stuff with Tommy Lorenzo. Just for the record, the Kraken were down 2-0. They've responded with 4 straight goals.
Yeah!
4-2 Seattle right
Damn
now.
right.
Meanwhile, the Canucks always spot the lead. 8 straight games. They're up 2-1 right now. Islanders and Oilers tied at 3 late.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6 foot 8. Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
With that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top. Oh!
Off balanced him a little bit. Takedown from him. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to Kimura that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round 1 halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work. Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that positioning. That's beautiful work. Hender's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the bottom from. Oh, he's out. He's out.
The Twisted Tuesday continues. This is Sports Rage. I am Gabriel Morency, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159, with the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people who bust them, Rick Saratella, and everybody else in between. We've got a lot of stuff to unpack. Rick, let's do this thing. Always a pleasure. How you doing tonight?
Hey, baby, from coast to coast, buckle up. Let's go.
And countdown to the Grey Cup Championship game is on the 111th Grey Cup Championship in Vancouver on Sunday, and Rick Saratella is going to be in the city this weekend for the big game. We look forward to it. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Toronto Argonauts. It's not the matchup that people in Vancouver wanted to get the BC Lions into the Grey Cup Championship game. But with that being stated, Winnipeg Blue Bomber fans are crazy. They're going to take that stadium over. They're going to be partying hard for their 5th straight Grey Cup. And Chad Kelly gets hurt. So the point spread's getting crazy right now, Rick. The Bombers are 10.5-point favorites over the Toronto Argonauts.
Yeah, it's amazing, but I'll tell you what, that's why they play the games. And Nick Arbuckle, once kind of anointed as one of the next great CFL quarterbacks, has kind of been bouncing around, didn't have a contract, as a matter of fact, as recently as training camp. And Toronto brings him up with the Chad Kelly suspension. We saw the horrific injury to Chad Kelly. Prayers up to him. I hope he's okay. Regardless of all his off-the-field endeavors, you never want to see somebody get injured in such a horrific way. And Nick Arbuckle, I mean, this would be the equivalent, Gabe, of Nick Foles leading the Eagles to a Super Bowl championship. We have the story of an underdog.
I like the Nick reference. Yeah, the big Nick energy here. I like where you're going. I like where you're going with this. And dude, there was an advanced number, and the point spread was 3.5. That's what the point spread was going to be. All right. FanDuel set numbers for all 4 hypothetical Grey Cup matchups going into the semifinal. And Toronto were getting 3.5 against Winnipeg. And now it's 10.5 because Chad Kelly is out. And with all due respect to Chad Kelly, it's far too much of an overreaction. As you stated, this is Nick. And the CFL, the UFLs, the XFLs, and even the NFL, the Nick Foles stories of the world, the Brad Johnson stories, they're made for guys like Nick Arbuckle. This is his day. This is your shot, bro. Like you said, you've bounced around. You've never really been able to stick somewhere. They believed in you enough to make you, bring you in. And now you get your shot right now. And for me, and listen, the Bombers are playing great football, Rick. We can't dispute this. These guys are on the warpath. They've been to 4 straight championships. They've lost the last 2. You can tell they have a chip on their shoulder. But with that being stated, Kadeem Carey's a good running back. And the Argos have a lot of talent, Rick. You're a scout. And, Rick's a scout with the Edmonton Elks. The Argos have a super amount of talent. They're not just about a quarterback. And they're one of the few teams in the CFL that can run the football. They're also good with the little dump-off screenplays to the Kadeem Carey. I think they can hang, bro, with the Bombers. I think 10.5 is too high.
Yeah, I think this is a well-coached team. It's a team in terms of depth, right? And you talk about these 2 front offices. I think it's 5 straight championship appearances for Winnipeg. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, 5th straight. It's their 5th straight. I've said they made the last 4. They've made the last 4, so this is their 5th in a row.
Unbelievable. And those guys, I know those guys in that front office, they grind their asses off on both sides of the ball. And this is going to be a competitive matchup. There's no way this is going to be a blowout. I see a close game. I might smell an upset special. I don't know until I get out there in the rare air of Vancouver from the Jersey coast to the BC coast. I can't wait, baby. Buckle up.
You know what? I was going to say we'll get a feeling for how the teams are handling the festivities during the week, but whoever parties more, let's bet on them. People always think, you know what I'm saying? It's always the opposite. It's like, I saw the Bombers out getting hammered last night. Good. You know what I mean? It means they're gonna play well, probably. But it's going to be a fun football game on a Sunday. All right. So Rick, there's a lot. We're basically the only show in North America or the world that talks about the draft and the odds on a weekly basis year round. Like we hit this year round, and of course Rick founded the NFL Draft Bible. So now a lot of other people are suddenly starting to talk about the draft. Rick, we're starting to get to the time of the year right now where people are starting to look at the draft order, and there was some confusion after Adam Schefter said the Giants had the number 1 pick, but he should have clarified they had the number 1 pick at the time that he was speaking, right after they lost to the Panthers. So the fact of the matter is the Jags would have the number 1 pick for the 3rd time in the last 5 years, which is pretty embarrassing. Now, it doesn't mean these standings will play out, but as of right now, the Jags are number 1, the Giants are number 2, the Titans are 3, the Browns are 4. And what are your thoughts on this right now, Rick? Guys, I want to get to the New York Giants situation with them picking with the 2nd pick, but who knows as far as the Jags are concerned, right? Is Peterson going to be back? They're kind of stuck with Trevor Lawrence unless somebody shocks the world and, trades for him. This is a unique situation for them. And one of the reasons why Travis Hunter's only plus 400 right now, being the number 1 pick in the draft.
Well, I will say that I don't know off the top of my head what Doug Peterson's contract status is, but if he's under contract for next year, this is a cheaply ran organization, which is why free agents don't want to go play for this team. And it's no surprise they got the number 1 pick. So if Doug Peterson is under contract, he will be back. They're not going to pay him, hire another guy, pay him also. That's not how Shad Khan operates. This is a penny pinching organization. They play multiple games overseas. They've just committed, I think, $40 million a year to Trevor Lawrence. So common sense and logic tells me they're going to look to trade out of this spot, not have to pay that number 1 pick money. They already have a franchise quarterback. You talk about the Giants at number 2, the Titans at number 3. You could even make an argument for the Browns at number 4. They would all love a quarterback, whether that's Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders. I think those are the 2 quarterbacks that are really jockeying for the top of the draft at this point.
And Doug Peterson is still under contract going into next year. So it's a very good point as far as Rick is concerned. You know what? They don't. You know why they don't have money, Rick? They're too busy paying over the hill wrestlers big money in their wrestling company. Tony, right? They got the football team and the wrestling company, and the wrestling company is actually probably better run than the football team is.
And,
so
and
as far
also
as
remember, Gabe, what he walked into was that Urban Meyer fiasco, and he mopped that up pretty good, right? And so, like, where Urban Meyer had it and where Doug Peterson brought it, now, granted,
but it's fallen right back now. It's gone right back down right now, right? That's the problem. Despite the number one picks and adding the talent, and it's sort of like the New York Giants. So, listen, John Mara came out earlier in the year, it was October, and he said, we're not making any changes. I've got full confidence in Dable. I got full confidence in Shane. Well, that was then, this is now. And clearly the confidence has to be starting to be lost. And I know you thought that there needs to be a change there. Like point blank, listen, let's say that hypothetically they have the number one or the number two pick of the draft. Can you trust Joe Shane and Brian Dable with this process? And number two, do you want to trust them to be the coach and the GM of this moving forward with this new star player that you bring in? And I would have to say no. Haven't we seen enough from Dable and Shane's regime to say that they need to make a change in New York? And there needs to be a quarterback change, a coaching change, and a general manager change.
When the owner walks into your office and literally begs and pleads for you to keep the franchise player, and you say, nah, buddy, we're good. We got Devin Singletary. Hey, by the way, did you see that Tyrone Tracy fumble the other night? Hey, Saquon Barkley doesn't do that, my friends. And by the way, to me, Shane and Daboll were fired as soon as Saquon Barkley did that spinorama upside down, backwards.
Yeah, that's a good call. I was thinking the same thing.
It was over.
When Mara saw the highlight of that, he's like, all right, this is it. It's done. It's over. You know, it's amazing to me. The owner tells him, I'm going to lose sleep at night if we lose him, and he signs with the Eagles. And here we are. So I'm assuming Mara's not sleeping very well.
Everybody knew he was signing with the Eagles. Everybody knew he was signing with the Eagles.
Except Joe Shane.
Except Joe Shane.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Fajeda is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6'8". Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Fajeda in the gray.
That lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top.
Oh! Off balanced him a little bit. Takedown right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to Kimura that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round one halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Fajeda. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work. Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that positioning. That's beautiful work. Henry's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the control. Oh, he's out! He's out!
He's in trouble! And he's down! And he is done! The king has returned! Francis Ngannou is back!
Twisted Tuesday continues. This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. I'm going to talk fast because there's a lot of stuff I want to get to. So, Rick, the New York Giants are just a disaster. It's like a race to the bottom every week with the Jets and the Giants. The Jets are one. They're another story because of the money that they've spent and because of the players that they have. But the New York Giants, it's constant. It's a yearly thing with this football team. The changes have to be made. Let me ask you. Bill Belichick, next coach of the New York Giants, buying or selling? Seems to me it's a perfect fit, bro. It goes full circle. And if I'm the Maras, you got to do something, man. Seriously, you're the New York Giants. If you're a relevant franchise, make a relevant move. And hell, you could argue that the game and the modern player has sort of passed Belichick by. I would listen to that side of that argument, but the fact of the matter is he's Bill Belichick, and it would bring credibility to the New York Giants. If there's a team in the NFL that's a good fit for him, and we know he wants to coach, it's the New York Giants. What do you think?
I'm not opposed to it personally, but wouldn't that be full circle? They want to run Tom Coughlin out of the house and then come full circle and bring back.
Well, they
Billy
love their
Belichick.
military sergeant type coaches, right? Parcells, Coughlin, that's what they like,
I do believe Bill Belichick is going to be the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders.
Whoa,
I think Tom Brady.
He's got the 24-year-old girlfriend. He's going all flash. We're moving to Vegas, baby, you're saying. Wow.
Yeah, I think so because I think Tom Brady wants to have Bill Belichick. I think Tom Brady is going to have a big hand in the personnel decisions. I hear Tom Brady wants to bring in Bill Belichick as the next head coach.
And Belichick wants to coach. He would have taken the Atlanta job. He got close to it last year, and other teams really didn't want him. So what about
How about
Deion saying?
How about this? A defensive-minded Rex Ryan knows the media market. He's dying for a second chance.
Yeah, he's begging for it. This guy's he's on TV. I can do a better. I've never seen a coach, actually. I'm glad you bring this up. I've never seen coaches like it's a fraternity. They all respect each other, blah, blah, even though they don't in real life. But you know what I mean? You're never going to talk about a coach's, situation like that. Rex Ryan basically goes on TV every day and says, I can do a better job coaching this team. Hire me.
It's funny. He's never had an interview since Buffalo. He went to back-to-back AFC championships with Mark Sanchez. He comes from a Buddy Ryan, a guy who knows a thing or two about defense. I look around the league, and I'm not saying hey, you chuckle with Rex Ryan and everything that comes with him, but I look around the league, I would say that he's better than maybe half of these bozos. That's just me.
How about this for Rex Ryan? New Orleans. Because New Orleans is going to be a job that people aren't really lining up for, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like Ben Johnson, these big-time guys aren't going to say, oh, yeah, I'd love to work with Derek Carr for the next 2 years. And they got serious cap hell stuff there. They got big-time issues. They're an older team. They owe a lot of money. Carr is owed $78 million. Even if you throw him under the bus, it still counts. You've got problems. So the Saints are just sort of a train wreck. And if Rex wants, because, you know what I mean, they're going to have to get sort of a coach that isn't in hot demand in New Orleans. Now, we're just having fun with this, but what about Deion and Shador, a package deal?
Well, I think now with Florida State, what are they, 1-9? There's some.
Yeah.
I think there's actually odds on the next Florida State head coach floating around out there.
I've got Coach Terry Bowden on every Friday, Rick. Great stuff. He's a regular, and obviously, he's a Bowden. He knows about Florida State, and me and him have talked a lot about this. And he sort of said the same thing to me. Gabe, I got a lot of respect for Norvell, but, and he basically said Deion wants that job. Deep down inside,
okay,
he wants that job. You know what I mean? Well, dude, he's a Florida State Seminole. And he can recruit he can recruit like crazy, Deion, man. You got to give him credit, bro. People don't, but you got to give him credit.
It's funny. I was watching ball with my 78-year-old godfather the other day. He goes, Deion, he's never got the headsets on. Does he coach anything? I said, no, he don't know nothing about X's and O's. He's just recruiting. I said, he brought 53 transfers in, more than any other college in the nation. And that's what's going to happen when he goes to Florida State, too. So that's what he is. He's a recruiter. He's a CEO. He delegates. He's got Pat Shurmur, a former NFL head coach, calling his offense. He's got Mike
Doing
Zimmer,
a great job,
former
Pat
NFL
is.
head coach on defense. He's got Warren Sapp just hanging out. I mean, this is what he does.
You're right. He's got T.O. too. T.O. is not technically on the staff, but Terrell Owens is there all the time now. Like, they're basically, it's like the NFL misfit cast-offs, and the Buffaloes are a couple of wins away from the college football playoffs, man. They really are.
Mm-hmm.
So can you see Mara, though, like we talked about, like sort of the Maras, you know, they're basically, you know, cut those sideburns. They're like Steinbrenners. You know what I mean? Like George Steinbrenner. Shedeur Sanders with the New York Giants. Do you see that fit working?
I don't, you know, and
because the Maras, the clash of the whole, the Maras won't want the baggage, right? Let's just call
Deion
it what it
burned
is.
Wellington at the combine. He told you guys, I don't want to be bothered with you guys. You're not inside the top 5. So I think that stuff lingers with the Mara family, as funny as it sounds. But I just don't think they want Deion around the program. I don't think they want Shedeur and that personality on Broadway in New York with all that attention. Like Daniel Jones, Eli Manning, these guys fly under the radar.
They
right?
like
They're
yes men. Shedeur ain't going to be a yes man. So we were doing, listen, we only got a couple of minutes. So the Giants are 2. Let's say hypothetically Giants Cam Ward. All right. Titans are drafting 3rd. You know, you got the Browns 4. So suddenly there are some teams that need quarterbacks here. But Shedeur has not made a secret of it, like cryptically. Every time the Raiders lose, he tweets out, God is good and stuff. Like, he wants to be a Raider. Like, he wants to end up in Las Vegas. And he's almost, dude, he was born to be a Raider, this kid.
So Tommy Ballgame's going to get on the phone. First thing he's going to do is hire Bill Belichick. Second thing he's going to do is bring in Shedeur, trade up, get Shedeur Sanders. Bill Belichick.
Boy.
Hey, Koski, mark this show, baby. Belichick, Shedeur Sanders, 2025. That's the presidential ticket in Vegas, baby. Coming for the desert.
If they do that, maybe I'll buy season tickets just to sell them, and I'll go to a couple of games a year because that'll be a big-time show in Vegas. Great stuff as always. Rick Saratella with us. We'll see you this weekend at the Grey Cup. Bring it.
Your main event, tail of the tape for Battle of the Giants. Francis Ngannou, 38 years of age. Reina Ferreira is 34. Francis standing 6 feet 4 inches tall. That's usually the bigger man, but tonight he'll face a man who is 6 foot 8. Reina weighed in heavier, has the longer reach on arms and legs. Francis Ngannou in the gold and black. Reina Ferreira in the gray.
With that lead hand, he's got to be cautious because that right hand is coming over the top. Oh!
Off balanced him a little bit. Takedown to death. Right there. Randy Couture told you to watch for the wrestling. Who lands the takedowns? Good level change from Francis. Well timed. Drives through. Now on top.
My goodness. How are you going to get more of that? Oh!
Triangle attempt here.
Francis needs to rip out of that right now. The longer he stays, the more chance he has getting caught.
Wrist again, trying to stifle the punching attack of Ngannou.
Round 1 halfway gone. Now the far side underhook for Reina Ferreira. See if he can build himself up. Easier said than done. From underneath somebody like Francis Ngannou, who punches from the top. Nasty work! Francis Ngannou wailing away.
Look how heavy he is on the hips. Look at that positioning. That's beautiful work. Hender's going to have to work tremendously hard to get Ngannou off him so he can get back. And he is unleashing the bottom throw. Oh, he's out! He's out!
right, let's roll. We're into the home stretch right now. Thanks to Rick Saratella for joining us. Some interesting stuff that we went over. Shout out to our boy Matthew George, who tweeted in earlier about Bill Belichick. And it seems to me that if you look at Bill Belichick, there's a couple of interesting fits. Now, Rick Saratella said he thinks, and he's hearing, and some people are saying the same thing, that Belichick is going to end up with the Raiders. That Tom Brady is now one of the owners of the Raiders, and he's being brought in to make decisions, actually, that Davis is going to listen to him, right, as far as the quarterback and the coach moving forward. Yet, I don't really buy it personally, and I don't know, maybe Brady will look the other way, and it's just business, but Brady and Belichick really weren't that tight, right? You know what I mean? They don't really, you know what I'm saying? I think it was more Brady. I think Belichick is just indifferent to everybody. They're just all players to him. But, to Brady, I remember I had Tom Brady Sr. on, years ago. And he told me, yeah, cool, thanks, Andy. I remember, he even put it in his Tom Brady. It was pretty cool. I was in a Tom Brady documentary that they did and stuff, that interview. Amazing. In which he said to me at the time, and it was, they were going to the Super Bowl. It's like, we're right on a Super Bowl. And he said, Gabriel, Tom knows, and I know that he won't end his career with the New England Patriots because we think that Tom can play until he's 45. He actually said it. He goes, the Patriots will want to get rid of him before he's done. And I remember right after that, after the interview and stuff, it actually went viral and stuff. And Brady told his father, don't tell people these things. Don't talk so openly. You know what I mean? And I remember another time, Brady's father said something another time, not to me, but he said something another time. And Brady got mad for real and told him, you got to stop saying these things publicly. Mm-hmm. But so there's no love lost. They did throw Brady under the bus, point blank. And it caused a rift between Belichick and Kraft because they got worse and Brady won the Super Bowl. Right? Belichick told Kraft, he's older, we can move on, and we'll be fine. You weren't fine. The Patriots still suck. And Brady got another ring with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, Brady won that battle. So, I'm not so sure that Brady's in a hurry to hire Belichick. Plus, Belichick is so old school, but the Giants are a perfect fit for him. That's where he started. It's full circle. And the Mara family always liked the hard-ass coaches. That's why, Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders, the second, the Giants have the second pick of the draft as of right now. They won't take Shedeur Sanders. He's too flashy. They didn't take Micah Parsons because they thought he had too much baggage. And then instead they took the Kadarius Toney, who ended up being a psycho that they got rid of after. The Giants are real morons. So, they'll, you know what I mean? They'll be no, we don't want Shedeur running our team and being the face of this and all that. So, I think they could go with Cam Ward, though. I think they can go with Cam Ward. I could see Belichick being the coach there. But I think Belichick will be back, Cam. But I don't think it'll be with Dallas are going to need a coach, but I don't think he'll want the Dallas job. Great. And I don't think Jerry will want to hire him because he's too much of a they clash too much,
It's basically when you're looking at the lineup and you see the photos, that guy with the parted hair, a guy who went to Duke. Let's draft Daniel Jones. He's a perfect fit for that. You said it. The Giants are that team that they don't want any type of guy. Oh, we got into a little bit of trouble and this and that. You know what I mean? They play it safe, but safe isn't good all the time. That's the problem.
No, they've got to catch up. They've got to do something. And Daniel Jones, and I'm not even sure Dable is the answer there. All right, so as far as the hockey games right now, 2-1 Canucks, so it really slowed down. They gave up the first goal like they always do. 8 straight games they've given up the first goal, but then they come back. They scored 2 goals in the second period. They have a 2-1 lead over the Vancouver, have a 2-1 lead over the Flames. Going into the third period of play, the in-game total is 5.5 right now. I'm inclined to believe that the Canucks won't blow this lead tonight, that they win this game 3-1, maybe, maybe 3-2 or something like that. But I would lean 4-1. I would lean, though, with the under 5.5 on the way out here, even though it is minus 160. That's just my personal opinion. 4-2 for the Kraken after 2 periods of play as well. 8.5 is the total there, Cam. And you know what? I think that game has slowed down, too. I think the Jackets have hit the wall tonight. I think this game under 8.5.
I like both unders, but man, I can't believe I got the Kraken at that price, Gabe. 4 straight goals. Go Canucks! Let's get it done.
Other than that, you're on your own. Later.